Hello, this is Daniel, and this is Down to the Wire. So now I'm going to go to Dylan Brooks after the last show. I talked about Jaren Jackson Jr. for our Grizzlies players when I go one by one. And, well, I'm going to start off with his points per game. He's averaging 15.7. It's pretty good, almost 16. 3.3 rebounds. That's pretty good, too, especially for a guard like him. And 2 assists, too. That's very good for a tall guard, 6'7". I mean, sometimes you're tempted to shoot, and he passes the ball very well. And he's shooting 37% from three, which is very good for a shooting guard. And then shooting 80% from the free throw line. That's a pretty good free throw shooting percentage right there. One of the tops in the leagues. Well, not like Steph Curry top, but that's good for his position. And then he's averaging almost 1 steal per game, so that's pretty good too. So, I mean, he's one of the core players for this Grizzlies team, and he has a really bright future after signing a 3-year, $36 million extension with the Grizzlies. So, a lot of good years to come for him with the Grizz. So, many people think that Georgia will be the front runner for the SEC East and maybe for the whole SEC, but I say they're not. I don't think they're the front runner for the SEC East. Maybe put Tennessee or Florida in there this year, because I think they're going to take a significant step back this year after losing 4 starters on the offensive line, including Andrew Thomas, Isaiah Wilson, Solomon Kinley, and Cade Mays, who transferred to Tennessee. That's a huge loss. Only 1 returning starter on the offensive line. That's terrible. And then you lose your starting quarterback in Jake Fromm, who is a very prolific passer and just one of the best in college football last year. And then you lose one of the best running backs in college football in DeAndre Swift, who ran for over 1,000 yards and was a good receiving back too last year. And you lose 2 defensive starters, Tay Crowder and J.R. Reed, very productive players, and they lose most of these players to draft besides Cade Mays, and that's just a huge significant loss right there. And since they lost DeAndre Swift, their leading rusher coming back is Zamir White, who had 400 rushing yards last year. That's just unacceptable. I mean, how are they going to have a top rushing game if they lose 4 offensive line starters and their top running back coming back had 400 yards rushing? I know he's behind DeAndre Swift, but still, that's not that good. And then many people think, well, they got Jamie Newman from Wake Forest, but he was an 8-5 quarterback. That's average. And when they actually played good teams, they got smashed. Like Clemson, they lost by over 40 points, and that is not good. I mean, I know he's a dual-threat quarterback, but we've seen what happened with Georgia when they had Justin Fields. That did not turn out well. But everybody's like, oh, you got JT Daniels from USC. He was a 5-7 quarterback as a starter. I know he's a 5-star, but he got beat out by Keaton Slovis, who was not that highly recruited. But Slovis is a good quarterback. But I mean, a 5-star shouldn't get beat out by a 3-star. I know he's coming off a torn ACL, so that's not going to help either. So I'm going to put a question mark there for the quarterback position. And then going to their wide receiver position, they don't have a wide receiver that has over 700 yards receiving, which is completely unacceptable. And George Pickens, that's their top one. He was a freshman. And coming back, you don't have anybody under 300 yards under that, because a lot of people graduated and went to the draft. So not that much experience coming back at the wide receiver position, and not that much productivity also. And getting a new offensive coordinator in Todd Monken, he doesn't have he hasn't been that productive as a head coach. He's okay at a small school, but I mean, this is Georgia's 3rd offensive coordinator in the last 3 years, and they're just so much turnover on this offensive side of the ball. And I'd say Georgia they have a lot of holes to fill. And I mean, I know they're really good recruiters, but I don't know if freshmen can immediately come and take the place of all these talented players that are no longer at the Georgia program. And I think Georgia will take a step back. I'm not saying that they don't have a chance for the East, but I don't think it's as good as last year, and I think they might slip up this year. Let's go to the phones. Hello, you're on Down to the Wire.
Yeah, I was calling to see what you thought about the quarterback controversy between JG and Harrison Bailey and JT Shrout and Brian Maurer, and I wanted to see if Brian Maurer or Shrout are going to transfer, or if it's going to be a big battle between the 4.
Yeah, thank you for your call. Well, I think that I think like Jeremy Pruitt already said, they have 7 quarterbacks to the roster right now, and he said it'll be a open competition. But I mean, obviously, I think I think Shroud or Maurer might transfer. I think it might be Shroud because he might be like 5 on the list right now. But I think it's really the competitions between Jared Garantano and Harrison Bailey. Obviously, Harrison Bailey, many people have him a 4-star or 5-star. Very talented prospect out of Marietta, Georgia. But then it's really hard to beat out a redshirt senior quarterback in Jared Garantano. I know he's had some struggles, but it'll be his 2nd year in the system with Jim Chaney, so that might help him. And he's put on a lot of weight, pounds of muscle, so that's good too. And Garantano said he had unfinished business, and I hope that's true, and I hope he comes back better than ever. But he's just got to get better, and can't be late on throws and making stupid mistakes. He just got to be the 4-star dual-threat quarterback that he's brought in to be, and be an accurate dual-threat quarterback. I know he's not the fastest guy, but he can still make plays with his legs. I mean, but then Harrison Bailey, I think he's a ton of potential. Obviously, I think the spring, it hurts Jared Garantano and Harrison Bailey, but it hurts him because he was going to have spring, but due to the coronavirus, it got canceled, the spring practice. I think that might hurt him. But he's been working out with some of the Tennessee wide receivers, so I think he'll develop some good chemistry. And I think that it's going to be go down to the wire, just like my show Down to the Wire. But I think that right now I'm leaning towards Jared Garantano, but I think Harrison Bailey still has a very good chance to win this job. But it's really hard to beat out a senior quarterback. But we'll see what plays out. But thanks for your call. Let's go back to the phones. Hello, you're on Down to the Wire.
Oh, hello. This is Apparity, and I was wondering, I was on, the Twitter, and I saw that Tennessee hired a new coach, and I'm just really confused because I thought they were doing pretty good with the other coach. So that's my question.
Okay. Thank you for your call. Well, yeah, it is sort of confusing, but Pruitt is actually still the coach, and Coach Doug's is just a made-up character from the NCAA 14, not PlayStation game, an Xbox 360 game. It's a video game character, and but in the video game, he's 5-0. He beat Florida and Georgia, so he had a really good start. So, but Tennessee's 5-0. I wish it was true, but I think Pruitt is still Tennessee's. I think Pruitt is still Tennessee's coach as of right now. And Pruitt's doing a really wonderful job turning this program around from where it was when Butch Jones left as a 4-8, now to turning into an 8-5 program. So I think Pruitt has had a great turnaround, and with the recruiting that he's doing right now, just tons of bright future ahead for Jeremy Pruitt and this Tennessee football team, and he's a great staff with him. So I think, although I wish Tennessee was 5-0 with Coach Doug's, Jeremy Pruitt is still the head football coach at Tennessee, and Coach Doug's is a made-up character. But thank you for your call. Let's go back to the callers. Hello, you're on Down to the Wire.
Daniel! Nick! Minnehaha County, Nick!
Hello, Nick.
Hey, Daniel, man. Hey, you can call me Steve Pruitt if you rather, man. Either one. That's who I went by in college, so yeah. But hey, man, second time caller, first time listener. Daniel, that first call I made at you about my niece and who she should date when she gets there. You know, Daniel?
Yeah.
I've got great concerns about it. The Keyshawn Lawrence kid.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel, my niece, since the pandemic of COVID-19 hit, Daniel, as soon as the world announces a hot spot, Daniel, she packed her bags and she hit that place. Daniel, she's been to the beach. Daniel, she's been on a cruise, Daniel, and Daniel, I am not KNOT all caps kidding you, Daniel. That cruise Daniel, I think we should regroup on Keyshawn Lawrence. Daniel, I'm scared she's going to kill him. Daniel, I think he has so many COVID-19 strains, Daniel, that she's not testing positive for any of them. So, Daniel, can we talk baseball recruit?
Sure.
Let's focus on Daniel, her dating a baseball commit. Just to make sure, Daniel, she doesn't kill the whole Tennessee football squad by dating Keyshawn Lawrence. Daniel, thanks for taking my call, Daniel.
Thank you for your call, Nick. Well, that's sad to hear about your niece, but I think Tennessee baseball, they're doing a really good job with the recruiting trail too. So there's a lot of selections and really good prospects and a lot of good-looking people. So I think she has a lot of good prospects on the baseball side too, but I hope she doesn't have coronavirus. Thank you for your call. Okay, let's go back to the phones. Hello, you're on Down to the Wire.
Hello, this is Bo from Doe.
Hello, Bo.
I was wondering why Georgia is so much better than Tennessee. I mean, we can't even beat Georgia State, and in total, and like they're better us overall too. They've had 6 people rush for over 3,000 yards in their career. Tennessee's only had 1. First of all, the person is.
What?
Do you know who the one rusher in Tennessee history to rush for over 3,000 yards in his career?
Travis Henry?
Yeah, but Georgia has 6, and one person rushed over 6,000 yards. So why are they so much better than us?
Oh, are you talking about Georgia or Georgia State?
Georgia.
Well,
And the only way we can beat them is a helmet, and they just whip us every year.
that's not true. Tennessee's been in a rebuilding phase for a while, and when when we had Butch Jones, we beat him half the time Butch Jones was here. And but about your running back thing, I think they've had a lot of good running backs at Georgia. I mean, Tennessee's had a lot of good running backs too, but I think they're just very talented running backs in Georgia history. But that's very hard to do, like what you said. But I mean, I don't really know. I didn't know that stat about 6 people with over 1,000 yards rushing, but 3,000 yards. Sorry, my bad. But thank you for your call. Let's go back to the phones. Hello, you're on Down to the Wire.
Yes, Daniel. Elridge Devin Rithersfield the third from East Memphis. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. What are we talking about tonight?
Tennessee football, Georgia football, and why they're gonna go down from now on. Grizzlies basketball and anything you want to talk about.
Yeah, I'd like not to talk about football, but something a little bit more prestigious. The SAA football Division III and the Rhodes Lakes.
Well, I don't really study that much on Division III and Rose College, but
Just a minute. As I'm sure you're probably aware, Daniel, we finished the 2019 season 1-9 at Rhodes with a very close nail-biting loss to Trinity 52-7 in our last game. And I'd like to get your thoughts on our prospects for this upcoming season. I think we're on a similar road to glory as Tennessee is, and wanted your thoughts as to the unique and obvious similarities between the two teams. And I'll hang up on this.
thank you for your call. Well, as you said, they're 1-9, and they lost to that Trinity school 52-7. I think they're gonna have another miserable season next year, and they're just in a bad state right now, and they still have a long way to go. But I mean, Rhodes, traditionally no one really knows them as a football school. I don't really study that much on Division III, more Division I and II. But thank you for your call. Let's go back to the callers. Hello, you're on Down to the Wire.
Hello, this is Shane from McMinn County.
Hello, Shane.
You said you had knowledge on Division 1 and 2, and whenever I was listening to your last caller, and I was wondering what you think about the 2019 champion in football. And what did you think of their team last year?
Division 1 or Division 2?
Division 2.
Well, are you talking about FCS?
No.
Oh, Division 1. Well,
No, Division 2. I was talking about Division 2.
I think it was a school from Florida. Don't know, some school from Florida, but they were a very talented team from Division 2. They had a very talented roster. Am I correct on that, Shane?
Well, yes, it's West Florida, and
yes.
And what did you think about their competition for that game? It looked to be a close game.
Yes, that was a very competitive game up there in Division 2. It's always competitive, but
What do you mean very competitive?
well, it was a very close game. Both teams battled it to the end, and just a great team. Great team win for West Florida. Thank you for your what?
What exactly was the score?
I don't know the exact numbers, but it was close. But thank you for your call. Thank you for watching this episode of Down to the Wire, and from now on we'll be doing one show a week every Tuesday, and hope to see you then. Thank you for watching.